Hello, I'm Davia Chambers and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at the Villas at Stonehaven, right in the middle of Blackrock, but still within walking distance from the Turtle Beach facilities and the Grafton Bird Sanctuary. In fact, the 11 acres that this property sits on was once owned by Eleanor Alafonda, the owner of the bird sanctuary. So don't be surprised to see several species of birds on the premises, including Tobago's national bird, the cockrecue. This place was designed with the help of Swedish architect Arne Hasselquist 15 years ago. The villas are all privately owned and scattered across a picturesque hillside complemented by the Caribbean Sea. Stay with us to see more of this place, but first, let's tell you what's happening in our stories this week. Promoting productivity and competitiveness by changing Tobago's economic landscape. One Caribbean, one health, one love. Tobago plays host to a meeting designed to find solutions to our regional problems and saving lives one step at a time.
A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. Teach children how to escape on their own in case you can't help them. Close doors behind you as you leave. If the smoke alarm sounds, get out and stay out. Never go back inside. If you have to escape through smoke, get low and go under the smoke to your way out. Call the fire service from outside your home. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago. Thanks for joining us at the Villas at Stonehaven in Blackrock. Right now we're in the Pavilion Restaurant and Clubhouse, but the Villas of Stonehaven have hosted a number of A-list celebrities such as Elton John, Whitney Houston, Diana Ross, and most recently, Brandy and John Legend. The manager, Brian Sang, tells us that the resort also won Hotel of the Year in 2007 and 2008, and for 3 consecutive years, TripAdvisor awarded this place for excellence. And speaking of excellence, let's tell you why Tobagonian businesses are being urged to create value for their customers. At present, this island is heavily dependent on the tourism sector, but Tobago understands that diversification is the key to economic growth and competitiveness. It's a shift that's already started, but this continued at the 8th Annual Business Outlook and Economic Conference.
Business people, economists and financiers from all sectors are able to get together every year to discuss and share ideas about the ways in which Tobago can achieve positive economic growth. This year they did so under the theme Leading Business Transformation. And one suggestion is to nurture those who are willing to take risks and think outside the box.
To increase productivity and promote competitiveness requires a new look at the way we do business. The success of our overall comprehensive economic development plan calls for the sharpening of our competitive advantage, and diversification is more of a necessity than an option.
What you need to do first is to look for your innovators, your inventors, your people with the unusual ideas, because you're looking for entrepreneurs.
And the tourism sector will need innovators who can transform the sector, one which provides visitors with memorable experiences.
As companies, we need to exceed expectation of customers. And this is where we must not get confused about 5-star. What people are looking for is a 5-star experience. We need to create unique and exceptional experiences. As I said, we are selling memories. Memories of what this business is made of.
The emerging energy sector just off Tobago's coast is also being looked at.
Tobago is sitting on the cusp of a lot of oil and gas in the offshore areas, and if that materializes, it's going to be the engine of growth for Tobago's economy and its business transformation.
Strengthening the private sector and looking at ways in which the public sector can become more productive were the other main areas explored at the event, which was facilitated by the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development. I am Omudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
But growing any economy requires innovation. Innovation similar to that which drives the creation of an app for almost anything. This also begs the question, How can we use technology to improve our daily lives, to map, model, query, and analyze large quantities of data? Well, the answers will be available when Tobago celebrates what's simply called GIS Day. Caroline Wallace explains.
This is called a Geographic Information System, or GIS. Translation: it allows you to create maps, visualize scenarios, and present powerful ideas. But the process begins by storing information as a collection of layers that can be linked together by a common location component, such as a road name. These geographic references allows you to locate features on the Earth's surface for analysis of patterns and trends for, say, agriculture or even infrastructural development. And this system is in use here at the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, or TEMA. It helps the agency to determine the level of resilience existent in communities in Tobago in times of disasters. This brings the island on par with the rest of the world.
We thought it necessary to share with the persons of Tobago what we have learned and to involve them in the sort of experiences that we had, so that we no longer have to make decisions, or we shouldn't continue to make decisions with respect to the factors of production based on emotions. We realize that we can collect data, use the technology, manipulate the data, and therefore support strategic decision making.
And to highlight the importance of GIS, Tobago will join the rest of the world in celebrating World GIS Day on November 19th. It is a first for this island, but the celebration is more than pomp and ceremony. It's aimed at building community awareness and grassroots support. Several high schools have been invited.
With respect to the divisions, we hope that the policymakers would see and embrace the concepts and the teachings of GIS and involve it in decision making and probably set up units within divisions. At the end of the conference, we hope to form a cohort in Tobago, a GIS cohort, practitioners cohort.
The system is already in use at TEMA, but this should spread to other divisions within the THE.
We would be able to improve our disaster mitigation and modeling, because we would be able to tell where flooding occurs, where landslide occurs, and as our division is responsible for constructing these drains and retaining walls. So the GIS system would be able to provide us with patterns that we would be able to make decisions as to what type of projects we carry out.
The theme for World GIS Day is Discovering the World Through GIS. I am Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
There are those who believe the world is short of role models, especially those who can inspire our young males to go beyond the ordinary. But Dr. Wayne Frederick is living proof there's still hope. He became a doctor at the age of 22 and now heads one of the top U.S. universities. And as Omodara Mills tells us, he shared his experiences with a group of young male Tobagonians. Today, we're sharing their story with you.
Over 200 male students came to this 2014 Global Entrepreneurship Student Conference entitled Maximizing Manhood, Exploring Opportunity, Growth and Empowerment, Accept Responsibility. They learned about the lives of successful men. One of them is Dr. Wayne Frederick, a Trinidadian who has been able to overcome financial and medical challenges to become both an accomplished physician and the president of Howard University.
You have an opportunity to determine what your outcome is going to be. But you have to apply yourself today. You have to make choices about the things that you need to do. And when you have a challenge in life, regardless of what it is, that challenge must be met with strong determination to make sure that you succeed.
Another successful man is mediator, communications specialist, author, and marriage counselor Michael Stewart.
Life will give everybody opportunities. That is one thing you are guaranteed. And we talk about exploring opportunities. So the people who can see opportunities and seize opportunities, the future is for them.
Even though they are told to make the right choices for their own success, one of the students showed concern for those around him.
How to also find the motivation to help others, including other men, so them could become that man and be responsible.
A lot depends on your values. The reason why Dr. Frederick left Howard and came to Trinidad, all right, from a large country to a small country, is that he was taught by his mother to have concern and compassion for people. That is what drives him.
The event has been a collaborative one between the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport and the NGO Junior Achievement of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take a break, but on the other side, the Caribbean joins forces to solve the problems of the region. Thanks for staying with us. This is Let's Talk Tobago, and today we're at the Villas at Stonehaven in Blackrock. This location provides a cozy holiday home for visitors, as each apartment is self-contained with a private balcony and an infinity pool in the backyard. Each villa can host an intimate wedding party, as there's ample space in the gardens for entertaining. But if you'd like to have a more elaborate function, you can rent the entire resort, which can accommodate 84 guests. Human health, animal health, and environmental health are all interrelated. This means that when you're seeking solutions to outbreaks such as Ebola or the levels of mercury in our water, issues must be examined from all angles, because these problems affect humans and their environment. Finding answers will be easier with wider participation, but bringing people together is not the easiest task. Now imagine how difficult it must be for a group of nations with seemingly very different objectives. But that's exactly what the Caribbean managed to pull off with a program it's calling the One Health Leadership Series. Let's get the details from Caroline Wallace.
Bob Marley sang about unity in his song One Love. His was a rallying cry for greater integration, and today remains a call that's still relevant to the Caribbean, whether for closer health or trade collaboration. But it appears the region is on the road to achieving this goal. There's a program to bring the Caribbean together through effective strategies to deal with health issues at the human, animal, and environment levels. It's called One Caribbean, One Health, One Love. And the first part of that program, One Health Leadership Series, begun in Tobago.
It's only when you get the full picture and you get all these people involved, these multiple experts with multiple disciplines, that you can really approach and develop an action plan that will solve those problems. And it's not just for diseases, it's for things like inorganic waste managing.
They are also seeking solutions to environmental issues that plague Tobago.
I'm thinking I'm more going to do something along coastal zone mitigation, taking into consideration that, once you have polluted water and that gets into the system, and that can have an adverse effect on public health.
And because the approach deals with three aspects, this island also wants to pay attention to preserving animal life.
We want people to realize that conservative hunting is important. Don't kill all the agoutis, don't kill all the lap and so on. Why do we need to preserve them? For future generations, if for no other reason, but also because they contribute to our ecosystem, right? So when people are hunting and each individual hunter decides, I want to kill as many agoutis as I can, then we are decreasing our agouti population, and if they were a pest in the past, they may no longer exist in the future.
The other series of the One Health approach will take place in other Caribbean countries over a 2-year period. I am Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Staying with health a while longer, let's be honest, exercising is not at the top of most of our to-do lists. Whether it's dealing with the children, studies, work, something always gets in the way. But did you know that one of the simpler ways of getting your 30 minutes a day and staying healthy is by walking? Each step can lead to a healthier you, and that's the message sport and games professionals want you to take away. They celebrated World Walking Day, but they're hoping the message resonates long after.
Walking is a low-impact form of movement that you can do by yourself, with your friends or family. but it's also a way for people to reduce their risk of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and osteoporosis, and enhance their mental well-being.
You're actually going to gain from that simple exercise. Instead of picking up the phone and call, if you walk, you're going to lose some weight, you're going to get fit, and it will improve your health.
Now, as you get the hang of walking, you may want to challenge yourself a bit more. One option is Zumba, a form of physical activity which was also done at this year's World Walking Day in Tobago.
Everybody thinks, exercise, no, we don't want to exercise, but once they hear dance, all eyes lit up, everybody all excited.
Tobagonians are being encouraged to do more walking and don't just leave it for one day in the year.
30 minutes a day is really, really beneficial to your whole well-being. Come out, call your friends, let's walk. Let's do something simple. Let's make it fun. It's a really fun activity. Try the beaches. A lot of people now doing it down at the cove in the afternoons. Come out in your numbers. Call everybody out. Let's walk.
The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport has been one of the facilitators of the 2014 World Walking Day activities. In addition to this, the division also plans to have another Zumba session at the start of 2015. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking another break, but do stay with us for the details of a concept that marries dance with pan. Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago. We're at the Villas at Stonehaven in Blackrock. The villas all come with well-equipped kitchens and amenities. But if you ever feel like having your meal prepared by a chef, a member of the restaurant team can facilitate this request right in the privacy of your villa. Each villa also has 3 to 4 bedrooms and can accommodate between 2 to 6 persons. Learning about history and politics doesn't have to be boring, and in Tobago, many people have the opportunity to learn about the island's governance from those who are in it now and know about the island's past political developments. But the secondary school's syllabus requires that students from both Trinidad and Tobago learn about Tobago's history and its politics. So one school used the opportunity to come here and meet with those who know and who are part of the system. Here's a snapshot of that educational visit.
Tobago is currently pushing for more control over its own affairs, but not complete separation from Trinidad. And that's one of the lessons these Diego Martin Central Secondary School students learned after paying a visit to this island and interacting with the Chief Secretary Orville London.
The thing that stood out to me the most was when they said that they still want Tobago and Trinidad to be united together and everything they didn't want to be apart, break away from Trinidad.
That clarification effectively lifted their lessons off the study pages to give them a first-hand account of how the political system works on this island. It also means that the purpose of their trip has been fulfilled.
Tobago is more than just the beaches. So if I have to teach social studies, I will have to include looking at Tobago, and what better way to do that than to come to Tobago.
These 26 students also learned about the current governance system in Tobago from none other than the presiding officer, Kelvin Charles. Mr. Charles says these academic visits are part of the Tobago Legislature's outreach program aimed at creating awareness of the Assembly's history and procedures.
People need to, in fact, these students need to be made aware of the structure, how it operates, how it impacts their lives, etc., because at 18 they vote. So they choose governments at 18.
It's a point the Diego Martin Central Secondary School social studies teacher won't argue with. Like the presiding officer, he believes it's much more beneficial for his students to come and interact with those in the Tobago House of Assembly who are actually involved in the governance process of the island. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
If there's one sport associated with Tobago, it's probably football. But here's a little known fact. This island is extremely successful in the sport of table tennis as well. Tobagonian athletes continue to shine in several local and regional competitions like the Caribbean Championships, the Caribbean Pre-Cadet Championships, and the Latin American Championships, just to name a few. This island even has a member on the national senior table tennis team. And there's more. Tobago has been successful at the Scotiabank Table Tennis Schools Championships. This island defended the 3 titles won in last year's competition. We caught up with the winners for this story.
On entering the doors of the Cutler Hall Community Center on any given day, the sound of table tennis balls against rackets is heard, as the players of the Tobago Zone Table Tennis Group are busy developing their skills. 13-year-old Jisha Digans is one of them. She practices rigorously, 6 days a week, to ensure that she defends many of her titles. And her hard work and dedication continues to pay off. She secured the Under-13 title at the Scotiabank Schools Table Tennis Championships.
The victory was a little challenging because players, coming out because I'm the champion to try to, to win me, but I was successful nevertheless.
Benoni Daniel is another Tobagonian who defended his title in the Under-15 boys singles.
Well, it was kind of difficult as in lack of training and thing, but I just thing going and I was come out successful.
Tobago also won another group category. Messiah Walcott walked away with the Under-11 boys title. The coach of the Tobago Zone tennis players, Dexter Abbott, says he's quite satisfied with his players' continued success.
We have to maintain what we achieve, and not only maintain, but we have to surpass our greatest achievement that we had achieved in the past, and to come through hard work. And as we recognize that the children are very committed to the sport, and we as coaches, Mr. Digans is here with me today, we are just committed to push them to their maximum potential.
The Tobago players are now preparing for the Solo Table Tennis Championships in Trinidad. I'm Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's called the Dance Pan Dance event. It's a first for Tobago, and the aim is to showcase different aspects of the island's musical and dance heritage. Let's show you how this creative marriage worked out.
That's just a bit of what patrons have been able to see at this Dance Pan Dance Festival. But the initiative is more than that. Patrons also got a visual history of the development of the pan over the decades, from the tambo bamboo to the drums to the steel pans presently used. Now, many artists are seeking to push the boundaries of the pan music even further and merge it with the different rhythms and choreographed movements.
The whole concept is how do we fuse and how creative we can get with the pans. So we have about 10 pan sites, and all of them will be coming out to showcase what they can do in the field of dance. They would have partnered in some instances with some of the dance groups on the island. In some instances, they of themselves are doing the dances. And also they would have partnered with some of the choreographers on the island.
The initiative, which is a collaborative one between the Division of Community Development and Culture and the Tobago Zone of Pan Trinbago, also had another educational component.
We also would have had, prior to that, an exhibition where school children were taught how to tune a pan and that kind of thing.
Whether it was the festive event or the more academic aspect of Dance Pan Dance, the division is seeking to encourage more Tobagonians to learn and preserve their culture. The initiative was also a cultural bridge between Calypso History Month and the Black History Month celebrations taking place on the island. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's time to have your say, the segment of our program where we hear from you, our viewers. Every year, this island celebrates Finance Week, turning the focus on the business community in particular and the creation of economic wealth for Tobago in general. This year's celebrations were no different. In fact, the 2014 event paid special attention to young Tobagonians and how their entrepreneurial skills can be nurtured. And as we told you earlier, there's also a push to diversify this island's economy and to change the way Tobago does business. But we want to hear what you're doing. So today we're asking, what more can be done to make Tobago's economy competitive? This is what you said.
People have to understand the value of work and the contribution they make to the development and to the economy and to the gross domestic product, etc. of Tobago.
First off, what we can do is work on our customer service.
I guess basically focusing on what we have and stopping the wastage of air.
Customer service in every aspect, taxi, the man in the street, the salesperson who is selling from a shop or parlor or anything like that.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. Remember, you can send us your comments or queries on anything you've seen in this program to information@tha.gov.tt, or even visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Davia Chambers, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, have a safe and enjoyable week. And as we go, let's leave with images of the Chief Secretary and the Executive Council meeting with Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa on November 13th.